Hey my lovely stitchy friends, how are you doing? This is Mika back with my 7th video. I hope you're having a good week and I hope you are nicely transitioning into springtime or autumn time depending on where you are. Here in Holland we are slowly but surely moving into autumn. Today is a lovely Indian summer day. We've been having really pretty weather this month. The first 2 weeks of September we had a heat wave with temperatures over 30 degrees. I know some of you don't like that. I love it when it gets hot and when it's so sunny outside and when you just, it feels nice. It feels like you're on holiday. My birthday is in the second half of September. It was last week. And normally I need to be on holiday to experience this kind of weather. And this year I could enjoy that in my own hometown on my birthday. So that was really very cool. That being said, I have to start this video with a confession to you all. I have been a very naughty stitcher the past few weeks. Last time we talked, it was the beginning of August. And since then, I've broken my rotation, I've broken my stash ban, I've started a few new things, and wow. I think I should get you up to date on that, shouldn't I? August was still a, pretty structured stitching month. A lot of colleagues were on holiday, so work was less chaotic than it normally is. We had a summer break of 3 weeks with the dance classes, which gave me some extra time to stitch, and I spent most of that extra time on my blue-red Mirabilia and my Spanish diamonds. So let's get started on those. First up is blue-red Mira. Here she is, the picture. You will probably remember what she looks like. I'll put in a picture of where she was last time you saw her. And this is blue-red now. Here you go. As you can see, I worked some more on the right side of what I had already stitched. This is part of her dress, going up into the cloak and into the cape going over her shoulders. You may remember my insanely long rant last time about blended colors and skin tones, and I already apologized for that, so I will not be repeating it, but you will not be surprised that I stopped at this point for now and that I have not dared yet to venture into all the 1/1 skin that's going on in her neck and in her face. I will definitely be diving into that sometime soon, because I like to work from left to right. So next time I think I'll probably start here and then I will find my way up, I hope. That's Blue Mirror. Second piece I worked on in August was my Spanish Diamonds piece by Northern Expressions Needlework. This is the entire chart. And last time you saw her, I had finished the first horizontal band and I had started on the first vertical band. I'll put a picture in here. Now, before I show you Spanish Diamonds, I should tell you that I made a few changes to it in August. The chart is charted for 5 colors, and as you know, I stuck to those 5. 1 variegated gold, 2 blues, and 2 greens. And for the first horizontal banner that I did in blue and in gold, I was very happy with my choice. But as I progressed down the first vertical banner, which I do in greens and in gold, I was not entirely happy. Let me show you. This is Spanish Diamonds at the moment. Here you go. Last time you saw her, I I think, finished this first bit of the vertical banner, and I've done quite a bit more. Now these are the colors that I originally picked for the greens. 3818 as the dark green and 702 as the lighter green. Now as I was working on Spanish diamonds, I loved the contrast between the two, but I didn't like that 702 is a bit of a yellowish green color, and I didn't really like how that turned out next to the variegated gold from Dinky Dyes. So I went through my DMC colors and I found 701, its brother, let's say. It's a color that I prefer to 702 as a let's say a single standalone color. It contrasts less well than 702 does with 3818, but I prefer it as a color on its own. So I stitched the second block of the first vertical banner with 701, and I liked how it looked, but I was not yet convinced that I should rip out the 702 and that I should restitch it all. So I left it for a bit. I put a picture on it of it on Instagram, and I asked you guys what you think. Should I go for one? Should I maybe alternate? Should I do something else altogether? And a lot of you answered that, you know, alternating between the two would look nice. And I think I agree with that. So the third block I stitched again in 702. And if I look at it now, I'm pretty happy with it. I like how it looks. So I decided on changing the color pattern into 3 greens instead of 2. And that obviously meant that I also had to do the same for the blue band. So I ripped out all these top and bottom satin stitches. Let me zoom in. I ripped them out and I restitched them, not in 995, what I originally did, this color and this color, but in its lighter brother 996. Can you see how that is lighter? It's very subtle, it's not very, you know, contrasting, but as a whole, I like it. I think I've made a good choice, and I'm looking forward to when this comes back up in my rotation next time. And let me show you the colors on the floss card. Here, look. Isn't that pretty? That's a good combination, right? I'm pretty happy with that. That's what I stitched on for most of August. Then, in the last week of August, when it was time to work on my Harry Potter sampler, 2 things happened. First was that I got the urge to work on one of my hates again. I watched a whip update by the lovely Mamula, Davina, and as you all will know, she is doing a marvelously wonderful job on her Hate Ex Machina. She is powering through that piece at a speed that is just, wow, astonishing. I love seeing updates of that piece in her videos. So when she showed it in her August update, I felt that tingle like, oh, I miss my hates, I miss my little blue, I miss my mini Celia. But I said that I would not stitch on my hates during the second half of 2016. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, it's a hobby and you should know what you should do what you want. You should stitch on what you want, right? So I had done a little bit on the Ravenclaw banner for my giant Harry Potter sampler, and then I secretly, what's even the use of the word? I took out my little blue and I stitched for about 200, 300 stitches on it. Not a lot at all, so I'm not taking it out to show you. That will happen in a later video. And then, while I was stitching on Little Blue, I saw on Instagram that Dona Stitch had a sale on. And not just any sale, a 20% off sale. Now, you may know Dona Stitch. She has a wonderful Etsy shop where she has this very unique style of charting Disney classics. And I saw that and I was like, oh, I want it. But I shouldn't do it. I've put myself on a stash ban. Yeah, but I want it. Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I looked at her Etsy, which obviously I should not have done. And I saw that she had released earlier on in the summer a Frozen pattern. And it was so pretty. It had these lovely blues, and Frozen is one of my favorite Disney movies. And oh. And then I thought, you know what? She also has a Tangled or Rapunzel pattern, by whichever name you know the movie. September is coming up. September is the birth month, both of me and of my best friend Sasha. We both love Frozen. We both love Tangled. Maybe she would like it if I gave the two of us a sort of early birthday present. So I texted the idea to her. I wanted to ask and not surprise her because Sasha is not yet a stitcher. She very much likes cross-stitching, but she hasn't attempted it yet. So I texted her with the idea and I said, would you like it if I bought us those patterns? And I'm going to do Frozen and you can do Tangled if you ever, want to get into cross-stitching. She was very enthusiastic about that. And so I bought the pattern and I bought for myself Frozen. Look at it. Ah, I mean, those blues and Elsa and Olaf and Anna and Kristoff and Sven and just awesome. This is charted for 3890, one of the newer DMC colors, and it's just, it's so lovely and bright. So before I knew it, I had ordered fabric, I had ordered threads, and they came in right before the weekend, on a Thursday or on a Friday morning. And I said to myself, you know what? I'll give it a tiny start. I'll work on this just for the weekend. And after the weekend is done, it will be the 2nd or the 3rd of September. And then I'm going to get back to my rotation. I'm going to get back to the plans that I made because I was so very much enjoying focusing on a few whips. So I did a tiny little stitch on, a tiny little start, on Frozen. Here you go. I'm stitching it on 18 count opalescent Aida. I hope you can see the sparkle, because I thought that would be pretty awesome with a pattern like this. What you're seeing here is this part, here, this part of the castle. It's so much fun. It's such a fun stitch. I was feeling a tiny bit guilty about it because, I've put myself on a stash ban because next year the boyfriend and I are going to make a trip to South America. And that obviously, requires a lot of saving money. So I had put myself on a stash ban after buying Spanish diamonds. I had promised myself that that would be the last chart I bought in 2016. Well, yeah. That didn't happen. But I said to myself, you know what? It's a very inexpensive pattern. It's not big, so the fabric didn't cost a lot of money. It only has about 22 different colors. This is manageable. I could have gone completely crazy. It could have been a lot worse. I could have bought a Hade and started a Hade. Mark those words. I said to myself, at the beginning of September, it could have been worse. I could have started a Hade. I will obviously get back to that. Then, in the first week of September, I put Frozen aside and I took out my Christmas stitch, Ring of Roses by Leslie Tier. Here you go. This is a design that was published in a cross-stitch collection. Does it show? Yeah, November 2012. I fell for it, obviously, for the lovely blues at the top. And because I had never done a Christmas stitch before, so I liked that. I said to you somewhere in, I think, my 4th video that I would only stitch on this in the autumn months. because, you know, I don't feel like stitching on Christmas things in the summertime or in the springtime. But September had begun, so I took out Ring of Roses. I'll put a picture in of where you saw it last time. And this is what I did on Ring of Roses in September. I need to smell this. This is a grime guard by Shopmade Designs. You may know her from Etsy or Instagram. And I gotta tell you guys, she makes awesome grime guards. And they smell, oh, they smell divine. This was the first time that I ordered a grime guard from her. And as soon as I got it, I just left it lying around in my living room for weeks before it went on the Q-Snap. Because whenever I would enter the living room coming home from work or coming home from the gym, I would smell this fabric softener. I even sent her a message saying, what did you use? What did you use? And it is some type of Ceylon, if I'm remembering it correctly. It's called, I think, Mediterranean, and you cannot get that here in Holland. And oh, ever since I have been looking for a fabric softener that smells like this. I usually don't use fabric softener, only on my bed sheets, but this just smells amazing. If you guys like grime guards, if you have never visited Shopmade Designs, go look for her. I'll put her Instagram and Etsy account in the description below. Anyway, I am hugely diverting here. Let's go back to the topic, which was Ring of Roses. Here you go, close up. I've worked on this bit of the bow. This is a page line in the pattern, and I've done this little bit. That's what I did in the first week of September. And then everything went nuts, stitchy-wise. There were 3 new designs that were tugging hugely on my heartstrings. The first was the latest Mirabilia Blossom Goddess. I'll put a picture in here. She has that lovely teal dress and the beautiful flowers next to her, and it was just awesome. Then, which made me scream even harder, there was a new release by Passione Ricamo called Evening Guide, or Fairy Guide, I think actually. Fairy Guide Evening Star. That's the full name. I'll put a picture in here. Look at that. That design has 12 different shades of petite treasure braid going in it. And look at those wings and that beautiful purple dress. And oh, I remember that I put a picture up in my Instagram and I almost screamed at Cowgirl Kate, this is the one that I want to do for our Passione Ricamo stitch along. Oh, I want it, but I shouldn't. That was number 2. And then a lovely YouTube commenter on my latest vid said that Chatelaine had released a new mandala that made her think of me. It was called Blue Moroccan Lace. Insert picture here. I mean, oh, isn't that just awesome? I saw it, and to tell you the truth, I love the look of chatelaines, but I've never been tempted to stitch one before. They're just, I find them quite intimidating with all the specialty threads and specialty stitches and the costs of kitting them up. But I saw this one, I was like, oh, that would look perfect on my wall. I want it. But I shouldn't. I really shouldn't. So even though there were 3 huge temptations screaming their way at me, I managed to resist and do not buy anything else. I was helped in that regard by the fact that I had Barcelona friends over in the second week of September, so no stitching happened at all. That was good. And then the 3rd week of September arrived, which was my birthday week. And guess what? Who put a sale on? Heaven and Earth Designs. And not just any sale, but a 50% off sale. And you guys, I didn't have any backbone anymore to resist. And I bought a chart that had been at the top of my wish list since it was released at the beginning of May. It's obviously an Amy Stewart design. Moon Charmer. Look at her. Oh, so pretty. So darn pretty. Heaven and Earth Designs, as you know, has the possibility to ask for maximum colors or a supersize or even a combination of both. I have never even thought about doing a chart with maximum colors or supersized. This was the first chart that I saw on their website that I thought, oh, that would be lovely in maximum colors or supersized. In the end, I didn't go for that because I'm a slow stitcher already. And if I do something with those features, then I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to see it finished. No matter if I would have 5 lifetimes. So that was not going to happen. But I bought Moon Charmer. I downloaded the chart from the website. I immediately ordered the threads that I would need for the first page. And by the time I was looking into fabric, I realized how big this is. $5.25 by $7.65. And I want to stitch this on 18 count Aida. My other two heights, Little Blue and Mini Celia, are done on 25 count 1/1. And it's okay. I'm using the waist knot method for that. But I really miss the loop start. I really miss it. So I had already told myself way before this sale came on, if I'm ever going to start another height, I want to do it on 18 count Aida. But if you want to do a design this size on 18 count Aida, and if you want to take, let's say, 10 centimeters or 3 inches, something like that, of space on the border, you're going to end up with a piece of fabric that is 1 meter wide by 1.3 meters tall. That is twice the surface of Giant Harry Potter Sampler by Clouds Factory. And it's all full coverage. I got the fabric, I laid it out on my living room floor, and I was like, I'm gonna need at least 2 lifetimes to ever get that finished. Oh man, what have I done, what have I done, what have I done? But the urge was too big, and I started it last weekend. And here you go. You're gonna see a massive amount of fabric, huh? Be prepared. It starts here. I've not been able to tuck this into the Q-snap yet. Please help me out here, guys. How do I do that? And then here is my start. This is about 900 stitches. And it's the first page, so that means the top left corner. I am loving this. The fabric is not Zweigart. How am I going to do this? No, I'm keeping it here. The fabric is not Zweigart. I don't know exactly what it is. I bought it in a store and it didn't come with a Zweigart label or a DMC label or whatever, but it's good. Aida tends to be very stiff, and it is quite stiff. Way stiffer than even weave, but it's nice. I very much enjoy working on it. And this is, like I said, about 900 stitches. I got those in like 6 or 7 hours. That for me is super, super, super speedy. And again, my wonderfully scented Grime Guard, another shopping session at Shop May Designs. So, yeah. 2 starts in 1 month while I was on a stash ban. And that is not yet the end of it. But this last piece that I'm going to show you is not my fault. It is all the boyfriend's fault. I was teasing you guys on Instagram earlier this week that I had been given the most awesome birthday gift by my boyfriend. And I was really not expecting this. We were on a romantic dinner for two for my birthday, and he gave me this big envelope. I was like, okay, what's gonna be in there? So I jokingly said to him, "Are these our plane tickets to South America?" And then I opened the envelope, and this little logo appeared. Right? A chatelaine. And not just any chatelaine. I think you can guess what this is. Ta-da! Blue Moroccan lace mandala. He bought me the pattern. He bought me a chatelaine chart. I mean, come on. How awesome is this? I'm still intimidated by it, as I am intimidated by the whole notion of chatelaines. But oh my gosh, you guys. It's such a wonderful, wonderful gift. I wish I could have seen my face when I opened the envelope, because he was laughing his head off sitting beside me. But this is awesome. I'm not going to kit this up overnight, because as we all know, chatelaines are not exactly inexpensive to kit up. So I'm going to take the coming months to read up on how people stitch chatelaines, on their experiences, on stuff like that. I know there are quite some Flosstube videos about chatelaines as well, so that's definitely going to be helpful. And I'm going to take my time to, you know, slowly kit it up, thread by thread, bead by bead. And I've said to Chris that once we are back from our South America trip, somewhere in late summer of next year, that I want to start this one. But oh my gosh, you guys. My boyfriend bought me a chatelaine. That is a sentence, I've just thought this now, that is a sentence that will not make sense to anybody outside of the stitching world. But you guys, I mean, you guys will understand my enthusiasm. So, that's it about my stitchy adventures in the past 7 or 8 weeks since we last talked. I said in my last video about 2 or 3 times how I was loving focusing on 3 whips and nothing else. And if I now look at the pile on my left side, yeah. I honestly don't know yet what I'm gonna do. I mean, I want to stitch on all these things at the same time. I want to stitch on Blue Mira, I want to stitch on Spanish Diamonds, I want to stitch on Harry Potter, that I feel completely guilty about neglecting it the past rotation rounds. I want to stitch on Ring of Roses, I want to stitch on Frozen, and I want to stitch on Moon Charmer more than anything. So I'm going to take some time to figure out what I'm going to do with my rotation, because I do want to stick to a rotation in whatever form for the autumn months. But yeah. I mean, I know you guys will understand how these things go, right? So that's it for now. I hope you have somewhat enjoyed my rambles, and I hope you have a lovely stitching session while you have been watching this, and I hope to see you guys soon again. Ciao, my friends!